Alright, Taves again. Time is everything, episode 5, birthday edition, 26th birthday edition. That's how old I unfortunately am. Um, I know I just made a half a dozen people feel even older. Anyway, uh, interesting stories to tell you today. Not a heck of a lot to talk about, so I'll billboard up top and then we'll just tick off one story at a time. I promised that I would tell the bat in the toilet story. I promised I'd tell something from the birthday dinner that I had with my parents and my godfather. And I figured I'd also give an update on my dad. Uh, so let's start with the update so we can get that out of the way and go on to funnier things. Uh, Basically, my dad went in for surgery, as I said, complications stemming from the original surgery. Uh, uh, he, for those who don't know, basically, he had open heart surgery this summer, and that took basically all summer to recover. Basically, it was back in June, and he was dealing with heart problems since April. So, give you an idea. And we're now in September, and we're still not done. So, basically, he went through the recovery process for the open heart, and he wound up at the point where he needs to go to cardio rehab, and he was doing cardio, and as part of cardio, they said get on this elliptical, and so he was on the elliptical, and his defibrillator went off, pacemaker slash defibrillator. The defibrillator part of it went off and shocked him internally. It's because it's at the paddles, but inside your body, so that went off a few weeks ago, and it was, okay, well, we gotta monkey around with the settings here because the settings get screwed up because of a magnet that was put on it during the surgery, and then hell, we'll just program it to where we think it was as opposed to where it actually was. So that I kind of killed it for a while with that, and then it went from that to like a week later, he's on the elliptical again, and boom, thing goes off again. So at this point, they figured out that there's a wire knocked loose uh, during the surgery, and so they said, well, you're going to have that pacemaker slash defibrillator changed in a couple of years anyway, so we'll just change that out while we're in there, and we'll give you a new wire. So they went in to do the surgery Monday of this week. It's Saturday, the 14th of September, just to give an idea. My birthday was the 12th, which was Thursday. So anyway, he went in for the surgery, but they did the dye inject thing to see how much room they had to work with, and it turns out there wasn't any room at all because the heart had sealed itself around the wires that were in there. So they have to go back in and basically use a laser to open up a hole and then feed a wire in there and then replace the pacemaker. So it's a little bit more complicated than what they wanted to do originally, and it requires 6 weeks of recovery overall, but definitely 2 weeks of no driving, and he still has the rest of cardio to go after that. So uh, we're looking at basically by freaking Christmas or early next year, he'll be back in tip-top shape. So not great, but it is what it is, and here we are, folks. Uh, so that's the extent of the update that I can give without getting too technical on what kind of lasers they're using or anything else, because I don't know that stuff. Uh, it's not my job. I'm the guy that sits around and worries at the house and takes care of the dog. That's my job. My mom goes into the hospital with him and stays around the hospital in case there's any questions or whatever. And I stay home and take care of the dog and the bird. Well, more the dog than the bird, but that's another story. Um, I don't like my dad's bird. You've heard me on other podcasts say I don't like the bird, and there's multiple reasons. And the latest one is that one day I decided to be nice to him, and this was at the beginning of the summer, and I'm not doing it any ever since then, basically, or anymore for that matter. At the beginning of the summer, I decided to be nice to the bird, let him out of the cage, and let him kind of wander around in my bathroom while I'm going and taking a shower. And so I'm in the shower, and the bird's sitting on the shower curtain rod, and he decides to climb down and start harassing me while I'm trying to take a shower. So he's nipping me. So that wasn't good. Uh, didn't draw blood, but it hurt. Uh, and then when I finally got out of the shower and I was toweling off, you know how you dry off before you put on your clothes, um, the bird tried to bite me. I'm not going to specify where, but it was an intimate place. Put it that way. And he's got a sharp beak. Anyway, not fun, but that's the bird. Uh, he doesn't like my mom either, so I'm not the only one in this house. So that's the bird, and I guess segueing from the bird, we'll go into um, a bat, which is just as ugly as the bird. Uh, Basically, uh, a few weeks ago, and this is actually in August now, uh, so about mid-August. Anyway, uh, my parents were looking at a house that they could potentially dump me in to, get rid of me because I'm a pain in the neck or something. But anyway, they were looking at a house to potentially dump me in, and they were looking in Hopkinton for it, and so my mom saw a little house, said, "Oh, this could be nice for Nathan to go live in." So we went to go look at it, and it looked nothing like it did on the internet. The internet made it look, big, long, wide rooms, everything. You get in there, it's all freaking narrow and shit. Not not conducive to moving around, basically. So it'd be like a college dorm, maybe smaller. Uh, Has a kitchen, but everything else was small in that house. And the roof was falling apart. The gutters were barely hanging on, and needed a lot of work. Uh, so we were looking around, and we weren't exactly sweet on the place to begin with. Okay, so we're looking around, and my dad decided to go down to the basement off of the kitchen, which was the main room of the house for some reason or another. And so he was down in the basement with the realtor that we had, and my mom and I were in the kitchen. So my mom, I'm just hanging out at the little island in the middle of the kitchen. And my mom decides, okay, I'm going to go take a look in the bathroom. That's just off the kitchen. So she goes in, she takes a look at the bathroom, just off the kitchen, and I'm kind of minding my own thoughts, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Oh, nice!" It was my mom. I said, "What is it?" She goes, "There's a turd in here." I went, "That's not nice." Uh, then she goes, "Wait a minute, that's not a turd." I said, "Wait a minute, that's not a turd. What is it?" She goes, "There's a bat in here." That's right, folks. There was a dead baby bat in the toilet of this house that was decrepit to begin with. So, if nothing else, that's what sealed it for us. We weren't going to get the house. So, I said to my mom, "You're going to have to show Dad that when he comes out of the basement." So, we wait a couple of minutes. And so, my mom tells the realtor, who's coming up the basement stairs into the kitchen. She goes, "Huh, that's not nice." So she goes and takes a look, and then we tell my dad, because he's even slower coming up the stairs, because he was specifically looking at a few things down the basement. So he comes up and he goes and he looks in the bathroom and he says, "That's not a bat, that's a turd with wings." Insert laughter here. Uh, so, excuse me. Um, so that's, ha ha ha, kind of funny. I get the last laugh of this thing. I uh, waited until we were done looking at the house. Uh, and we get done, we lock up the house and head out to um, the outside porch, whatever you want to call it, deck, whatever. And so I was standing out there talking about the house, and the realtor says to me, "What did you think of the house?" Because my parents are like, we're not too keen on and stuff. And so the question comes up, "How about you?" to me. So I said, "Well, I'm not keen on it, but it is what it is." I think, though, you can go back and tell the seller that the selling feature of that house is that it comes with its own bat cave. So that long traumatic pause I just gave you was a chance for you to laugh your ass off momentarily. Um, Hopefully you were laughing. If nothing else, you went, cute. Uh, which is about how I thought about it. But for some reason, I've been telling people the story. It's been getting screams of laughter, so laugh at your own risk. Uh, or at your own level, I guess. So I've knocked a couple of things off the billboard, which was the update my dad, the bat, and now we're talking about birthday. There's not too much to report uh, because of finances being what they are when people are sick. Uh, I downsized my list significantly from what it was of things I wanted to get. And I said, okay, here's the bare essentials. It's, 4 items I wanted to get. I wanted to get the Bling Ring, Blu-ray. I wanted to get the Wizard of Oz 3D Ultimate Collector's Edition Blu-ray, which includes the 2D version and DVD and digital copy of the film, plus the collectible books and a finger drive shaped like the Wicked Witch of the East Lake that hangs out from under the house at the beginning of the movie. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. So, uh, I wanted that, and I wanted The Cuckoo's Calling, written under a pseudonym by J.K. Rowling. and let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, Boardwalk Empire Season 3 Blu-ray. So I got all of those. That's the good news. My godfather surprised me with um, the uh, a couple of Sinatra DVDs. Basically, there's a group of Sinatra televised concerts from the 70s called Sinatra Prime Time, and a Sinatra Remembered DVD, which was basically like, here's some of his best songs as performed in concerts throughout the course of his career. Take a look and enjoy it, kind of thing, and a CD that comes with it. So it's a good collection. It's not a lot of stuff that I have already, so it's good. Uh, so anyway, that's about the extent of it. Thomas gave me, uh, what was it? The Kiss Me Stupid. Uh, uh, what's his name there? Jack Lemmon and frequent director Billy Wilder wrote and directed that, and it's Dean Martin and Kim Novak in it. So I gave it that, and uh, the the, uh, the apartment, the other Billy Wilder classic, starring Jack London and Shirley MacLaine. So that was nice of him. I appreciate that. I look forward to watching the lighter film at New Year's Eve. That's my annual viewing of that movie. It's on TV. Now I have it on Blu-ray so I can watch it there. Um, so anyway, let's see here. That covers the gifts. I got a generous amount of money from my aunt and uncle and cousins, um, and using that towards a movie collection. To be determined which one yet, but that's okay. Uh, as soon as I figure it out, I'll let them know and probably say something about it on here. And I got the Vincent Price a collection from Scream Factory, I guess, is the division of Shout Factory that released it. It's a few of his '60s horror films. Mask of the Red Death. I think it's the Haunted Palace is in there. There's the Conqueror Worm from the '70s. There's the Abominable Dr. Fives, which was again the '70s. I think there was House of Usher was another one in there. Anyway, it's a good collection. Take a look at it online. You'll enjoy it. If you haven't seen them, some of the movies are online and they're great fun, worth a look. So anyway, that's the gifts as they stand, and I'm thankful for all of them. Believe me, I enjoy them. Uh, so there's that, and so basically what happened on my birthday was I got up with a little bit of a jolt. Not for any other reason than there was a nice big hairy spider running at me in my room, and I swatted it with my handy broom, and it did not kill it. Still somewhere in my room, and I will have a confrontation with that probably later today because it shows up every few days and like chase around the room. It looks something like a Tex Avery cartoon, if you can picture that. Uh, or if you want to do a poll from the '70s, if you remember the animated Robin Hood that Disney did. Uh, I think it was was it Little John or no? No, whoever the corrupt king or prince was or whatever, the lion basically, in that he starts chasing a snake that's it, it been giving him a hard time, and he starts trying to whack it with a stick while he's sucking his thumb. It looks something like that, except I'm not usually sucking my thumb until after I hit my hand for some reason. Um, so that's a little funny visual for you. Outside of that, I went to dinner with my godfather and my parents, who went to the Bolton Street Tavern in Marlborough, Mass. The cheesesteak there is great. Uh, the Unfortunately, the consistency of how it's made is kind of interesting, and I don't mean like the texture or anything like that. I mean like the way that it's made each time I've gone there has been different. And same thing with the onion rings that they serve. I went there uh, one time a few months ago in July with my parents, and the the onion rings were piping hot, best thing that you could possibly want. Cheesesteak was great, nice gooey American cheese in there, best kind of cheesesteak in my opinion. I know other people have other tastes, but I prefer the American cheese. So that's the way I got it the first time. Second time I got it was with Thomas's brother Jonathan, and this was in August. And the cheesesteak was made partially with cheese sauce and partially with American cheese, which wasn't bad, but it was interesting. Uh, and the onion rings were cold, like they weren't even friggin' cooked. That's how cold they were. Uh, this time, when I went with my godfather and my parents, the American cheese was solidified in the sandwich, so it wasn't really gooey, but it was, it was American cheese. It was in there, yeah, and it was like a warm, uh, but firm substance. It wasn't gooey or anything. So there was that. There was no cheese sauce in there, and the onion rings were warm for some, cold on others. So it's a very odd way in which they don't really have any consistency of the food. But if you catch it uh, at the right time and stuff, it's good food for little money. And I should mention, I said to a few folks that I was going to be drinking uh, for my birthday. My drinking consisted of 2 Jack and Cokes and a shot of Jack Daniels with my godfather. That was the extent of my drinking. And yeah, it was good. I also had a dessert item of ice cream sundae. Uh, my dad had strawberry cheesecake for dessert, and he had some kind of steak-ish dinner and sent out my godfather. And my mom, I think, had fish, if I recall, for dinner and no dessert. But she also had drink, which is unusual for her. I guess that's one story I can tell you very quickly, and then this will be the end of the podcast because I don't have too much else to say at the moment. Uh, my mom, as I just said, is not a heavy drinker, if a drinker at all, really. Um, she gets drunk off of a teaspoon of anything. Uh, so it's kind of interesting to see her drink. One time, my cousins, um, hi guys, if you're listening to this, my cousins were over at the house with my aunt and uncle, and uh, you know, they know how to drink. So I, so it was my dad. Uh, for whatever there is in my dad I don't think was around, or he was coming home later that day or something. And this is a few years back, um, and so we were we were having drinks. Myself, my cousins, my uncle, and my aunt, and my mom said, "Well, I don't want anything to drink. I just want water or something." So she sees this bottle of what is labeled tonic water uh, sitting on the counter that my uncle had brought over. And so she uh, pours herself a glass of that, no ice or anything, just pours it right in. And she starts drinking it. And she goes, it, yeah, she gets about halfway down the glass. She goes, this is, really strong. It's burning, going down. I don't understand it. My uncle goes, excuse me, did you get that from the tonic water bottle on the counter there? And my mom goes, yeah, I did. And everybody erupted in laughter. Basically, what had happened was she had guzzled a half a glass of vodka, and it was a tall glass of vodka to boot, so it was absolutely hysterical to us. Uh, she thought she was being clever and just having a regular glass of water, but somehow didn't register that she was drinking vodka. So, anyway, it's funny. I don't mean to be insulting or rude or anything with that story. It's amusing when we all laugh at it. Uh, and just so you don't think that I'm, you know, picking on anybody, I'll tell you a quick story that's about me, and then we'll sign off for this podcast. So the and the story is this: my dog Maggie, who's no longer with us, hopefully she's in a better place, um, was having some incontinence issues towards the end of her too short life, and so she was going in the house quite a bit, even if I was letting her out during the day and stuff. So one particular day, I had gone up to my room to do something. It was like 8:30 at night or something. I was coming down to take my nightly pill before I go to sleep. It helps me sleep and stuff. So anyway, uh, I come down the stairs and there's my mom cleaning up dog piss. And I went, the dog peed in the house again. My mom stops what she's doing, looks up at me, dead in the eye, and straight as you can possibly imagine, says, nope, just practicing in case she does. Here's your sign. Now, before anybody says to me, wow, she upstaged the king of comedy again, first off, I am not the king of comedy. That title belongs to Jerry Lewis because of the movie that he was in, The King of Comedy. Secondly, it's funny. I laugh at that story. I'm not laughing right now because I'm telling it kind of quickly and straight faced. Uh, but I do have a smile on my face about it. It is amusing. And you know, it's amusing. I like the billing for all stuff, and I use it myself quite a bit. The here's your sign stuff. So I'm always able to laugh at it when somebody uses it on me. So I found it amusing. I'm not offended. I'm not offending anybody. I hope it's amusing. So anyway, with that, this has been the uh, uh, Time is Everything, Nathan's 26th birthday edition. Hopefully, you've picked up on the fact that I've been a little bit more of a wise ass as of late, based on the stuff that you've been hearing. And hopefully, this was a good update for you as to what's going on in time and space. I'm getting ready to write something pretty soon. I'm not sure what that will be yet. I have a feeling that it will probably be another script, but we shall see what happens. And so I will try to podcast as much as I can. Maybe try to get my dad in a couple of them and see how that goes. So with that, I'm Nate Taves. Thank you for listening. And I will be talking to you on the next one, whatever that may be.